We're back. And today's going to be a great episode. I'm very excited for this. I saw a picture of a sandwich online, and I had to have it. Max Local Eats.
Isn't that the best feeling, though, when you see something online that you love, and you actually can acquire it?
And it comes right to you.
I mean, that's magical, because a lot of what I see online are things I could never hope to have.
Right.
These fancy cars that
How many times, though, are you
and,
disappointed when it arrives,
You know,
and it's not what you thought
not
it was
today.
gonna
Too
be?
often I am disappointed,
Yeah.
but to Andy's point, that is not going to happen
Yeah.
today, because I know what we're getting
Okay.
today.
See?
No,
Why you got to
no.
be so negative?
No, it's not. I'm just
No,
saying.
but he makes a good point.
that's
I mean, a
common-
lot of times
and
you
not-
order something.
and they make
doesn't
it look
come out.
like it's a real suit of armor.
You want to hear something really
Yeah.
messed
well,
up?
I think those are scams. I think those are Facebook scams.
You want to hear something really messed
Of
up?
course. Why wouldn't I want to hear something messed up?
You've heard of the World's Fair, right?
Yeah, I missed
Yeah,
them.
it's a shame they don't do them anymore.
really is.
Yeah. You know what? They do.
Really? But it's not the same as
It
it
is
once
the
was.
same. You know what the difference is? They decided they don't want Americans there. They occur. They are huge. They're in other countries. They're promoted in other countries.
Really?
A friend of mine went, said it was one of the greatest experiences of his life, but they are not promoted in America.
Isn't
They
that
do
something?
not want us there.
You know,
There's one in Japan next summer. They call them World Expos now.
Right. Well, they were calling them that back then, too. They went by a
Yeah.
lot of different names. But from 1883 to 1904, that 20-year stretch, 21-year stretch, Chicago and Paris and St. Louis, those three World's Fairs
Change the world.
changed the world.
When the-
Almost every
the
major
39
invention.
Chicago Fair was a big deal too.
But in terms of invention, those
Yeah.
in between 1883 and
I
1904,
actually went to a
everything.
World's Fair.
Where?
Yeah, but what was
Knoxville?
the biggest invention that came in where you were there? Because you're not that old.
It was, you know how they changed
was-
those ketchup
in
packets to those little
general-
cups
The
that could
dippers?
either squeeze or dip?
No, I went to
Those
the
are-
one in
that's a good-
Flushing Meadow in New
Oh,
York.
the Men in Black one.
Oh, you went to the one with the big globe.
Yeah. That's
I
the Men in
just
Black
passed
one.
that on the subway.
Yeah. And
What did they
had a-
have? What did they introduce at that
Oh,
World's
they
Fair?
had like ashtrays in the car you could
Oh,
use.
Jesus.
Okay.
Really? That's
Yeah,
nice? The one they had in Paris introduced the car.
Oh.
Not the ashtray in the car, but the very first, Benz
But
motor
what
wagon.
would the car be without the ashtray?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like
I
it
mean,
goes the other way.
really, what would it
but,
be?
You know,
What are you gonna do in
the
there if you
original
can't
two
smoke?
cars both debuted at the exact same
The
World's Fair.
Citroën? Was it a Citroën?
Citron.
No.
And then Citron.
No, I don't know. I don't know what words you're saying there.
It's a French car.
Okay, but it was not a
Andy-
French car.
Andy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but there were no French cars, so
know.
ha on you. No, Benz was German, and he brought his first motor wagon was debuted at a World's Fair.
Did you just say Motorwagen?
Well, that's how they pronounced it.
Okay.
They were motor wagons.
Wait, so take me through this.
In Andy's tips for the common man, most everybody drives a Citroën
a Citroën with an ashtray.
if they're smart.
Wait, hold on. I don't know that a Citroën is I think that is a car for the common man.
Maybe.
Anyway,
Yeah.
wait. So what was the Ford Model T? That was the first mass-produced car?
That was a mass-produced American car, and it was mass-produced at a price point that the average person could afford. The early cars, you really had to be pretty rich. And there wasn't even an expectation that you were going to be the driver. It was really just replacing the horse-drawn carriage. So the idea was you had somebody driving the carriage, you'd have somebody driving you in a motor
So who
wagon.
made the first car?
It was Carl
know?
Benz. Yeah, Carl Benz.
Oh, Mercedes-Benz?
Well,
Well, I
not
mean,
Mercedes-Benz,
yeah, it was
but it
Carl
was Carl
Benz.
Benz.
Mercedes was somebody's daughter.
It was somebody's daughter. Yeah, he somebody who had
It
actually.
was Dahmer.
It wasn't his daughter.
Jeffrey?
But yeah.
No, but he was the guy who owned the company, not Mercedes.
Daimler?
Daimler, yeah.
Wait, so
Boy,
there's
I know a lot about
there's
it.
Yeah.
Benz, there's Mercedes, and there's I was wondering
They were
why it
all,
was
all
Daimler
separate
Benz.
things. Daimler was a separate person who invented a separate car, but eventually mergers took place and things happened there.
They wanted to name one of their cars.
Well, they
after
didn't
this
want to.
girl.
It was insisted upon them by the child's father, who himself was kind of a designer of things and had presented some plans to the car company and said, if you guys can make this car, I will personally commit to buying X number of them. And it was not a huge number. It was like 26 cars, but apparently back then that was a year's worth of production.
Right. Now 30 cars had been sold.
The only thing that he asked for was that the car be named after his daughter.
Interesting.
His daughter's name was Mercedes.
And then there was a guy named Sid Maybach who cleaned up the offices and they
No,
named
but
it.
there really was a guy named Maybach.
Yeah, Maybach.
All
Of
of those
course.
guys. That's the amazing thing about
That's
cars.
but that's the most interesting. All the Mercedes,
The
the
Maybach.
Maybach. Yeah.
Yeah, but all of those guys were real
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
I mean, it was really, they made it, it was a standalone brand. Now they've
Yeah.
added it on to the regular
It's more
Mercedes.
trim level now.
But it was,
Yeah, but
What's really fascinating is who the hell named their kid Mercedes before Mercedes?
I know, isn't that incredible? The name predates it, but you know what?
A
All these people
visionary.
were real
I
people.
guess.
Rolls was a person. Royce
Royce.
was a person.
Yeah.
Bentley was a person. Chevrolet was a person.
Yeah. Yeah.
We all know,
Ford.
obviously, Ford was. But it's weird seeing these names that we
Ferdinand
know.
Porsche.
Porsche, yeah, which there was the father and the son. The father invented Volkswagen.
Yeah, Volkswagen was
Yeah.
not a person.
No,
What is
it
that?
wasn't. It
What,
means
it just means the people's car?
the
Yeah.
people's wagon in German. So the original Porsche invented Volkswagen. It was his son who actually started the sports car company that we now know as Porsche. So,
Wow.
and in fact,
Is this from the men who built America?
No, this is from the
not-
cars that built the world.
The cars that built
But
the world.
but let me just say one interesting thing about the very first Porsche sports car,
Yeah.
which evolved into the 911, but was not a
Right.
911 when it was first built.
What was it? The 356?
It was the 356, and if it looks kind of like a Volkswagen Beetle,
it's 'cause it
it's
does.
because it is. It was made out of one. He had no ability to get the metal necessary because the war had just ended and Germany was decimated. But he wanted to develop a sports car. He took a Volkswagen Bug, which of course has those rounded edges. It's got the engine in the back with the air cool system. And if you look at the modern day Porsche 911 or the 356 at the time, it's all rounded edges, engine in the back, air cool system, just like the Volkswagen Beetle.
Yeah, they're very similar cars in a lot
He
of
literally
ways.
took one apart and turned it into that.
I've seen people take a Volkswagen Bug and put on the back of it Poorsze. Porsche.
Oh, that's cute.
I've also seen when they put one of those turnkey dials
Yeah.
to make it look like a wind-up car.
Yeah.
You don't see those anymore, but those were adorable.
Yeah, there are very few like of the original Volkswagen Bugs. There's some guy in St. Louis or in my neighborhood who has an old one that's painted orange that says City of St. Louis.
Did they do punch buggy when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Like if you saw one,
Yeah.
punch buggy red?
Yeah.
You know, who came up with that nonsense?
I never heard of it.
Volkswagen.
They were violent people.
Or maybe it was just good marketing. Let's eat.
Yeah, you know what? Let's eat
I'm
because
hungry.
and we're gonna bring on a special
Yeah.
guest to join us for at least a few minutes. I love giving him time. Why don't you come on, Chris?
Chris,
George,
a.k.a. Mac.
Yes,
Welcome,
Chris,
George.
also known as Mac because
George
his last
Clooney
name
is
is
our guest
Mac
today.
something or other. What's your last name, Chris?
Mackenzie.
Mackenzie. So that's where
Oh,
Mac
God,
comes
that's
from.
a lot of food.
Who's this guy?
Chris
I
Mackenzie.
thought we were having George Clooney. today.
We got better than George Clooney. George Clooney never made us the most delicious
That's why I
burgers
want-
and
true.
sandwiches
I
we've
want
ever
that.
had.
Passing
Kind
out
of
some
ornate.
fries to
Yeah,
everybody.
let's show 'em
Actually,
how
you know what?
beautiful
We
these
probably
look.
don't need to.
No, but let's just
have a whole
put them on display.
We've
bag
never gotten
each.
fries before.
Because
this may be a first on the
Listen,
show.
I don't want to seem.
Now have we expanded it from sandwiches to things that accompany sandwiches?
well, but we do have
will
sandwiches.
there be
too.
chips here someday?
You know, one can only wish.
There have been chips on
We
the
can
show.
make things happen. But Chris,
don't
let me
think.
say this before we
Yeah.
start. I want to eliminate the appearance of bias. I don't have a personal relationship with you, and I never met you until I became
But he'd
familiar
like to.
with your restaurant. But I have touted Max Local Eats on every single program that I've done with no remuneration, and I'm not asking for any.
Yes, he is.
Sounded like he was.
This
It
is
is.
this is the first restaurant that
Is this
we
a
have
fry
featured.
sauce?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I love the fry sauce. This is the first restaurant that we're featuring on the podcast that we actually did on the original video show.
Yes.
Three Lawyers Eating Sandwiches. One of my favorite episodes. And these sandwiches were special. I tell people it's the absolute best burgers in St. Louis, bar none. And I spoke to you in the restaurant and you were telling me about your process of choosing your meat.
Yes.
Jump right in. Tell us about the restaurant, but tell us why you're special, because you are special. And I don't want you to be shy about it. I want you to tell them.
No, we're really proud of it. Thank you for asking. In fact, I say it a lot to guests because it's so important. We buy good raw materials and get out of their way. That's really what we do. And so for the beef that we use, we buy a really well-raised cow from a local farmer. It's a grain-finished Black Angus. And when it goes to the processor, we dry age the carcass, the two sides for 4 weeks, which imparts a flavor that you don't pick up unless you do that process. And then and then the next thing we do is we turn the whole thing into ground beef. So the tenderloin, the rib loin, the short loin, it's a whole cow grind and a 4-week hang. And
say that again.
Yeah, it's fun to say, isn't it?
Yes, I like that.
It's a whole cow grind and a 4-week hang, and that's what gives it that umami, that really good beefy flavor. Because all we do is put salt and pepper on it.
It is it's the aging. It must be the aging. But I was in your
You're going to
place.
pass a piece to Chris and tell us what burger that is.
That is a triple gooey garlic burger.
I like that.
So that's 3 beef patties. On each patty is a slice of American and Provel with some of that garlic aioli that we obviously make in house. We brush the top with some garlic oil, and then we finish it with some sea salt.
Hold on, Andy.
Are we gonna?
We have 4 on here today. You can't just put.
What is this?
You
Oh,
put
sorry.
my
You're right.
sandwich
You're right.
away.
You're right. You're right. When you're right,
Party
you're right.
foul.
Excuse me.
That is some cheese sauce that we hit with red hot riplet seasoning. So
that's for the fries?
For the fries, correct.
Okay. You know, what I'm realizing, I never realized this about your place before, is you essentially do. I always say that if you go, steak is good, but I don't love going out even to a steak restaurant and eating a big steak. And what I always say is
Well, I was waiting.
get the
I thought
burger. Because it's always made. You go to a great steak place, they're taking all the trimmings from these great steaks and making them into burgers.
Yes.
And that's essentially what you're doing.
Yes, 100%.
I went into your place. I don't know if you remember this, and I said, "When are you opening up a second location? This place needs to go far and wide." And you said, "I wouldn't sacrifice the quality control." You said, "I am here every day from beginning to end. I choose the cows that are used to make these things, and I don't want to lose that quality." Do you still feel that way?
I absolutely do.
Well, then folks are going to have to go down. It's this. If you don't know where it is, by the way, this is the location you're currently at. I have to imagine is by far your most successful.
It is.
Because you got the hotel, the Jury Inn next door. He's right on Oakland, right down the road from SLU High School. It's a perfect place to get lunch if you're going
And it's
to the
huge,
zoo.
comparatively.
You can go pick up your food, take it to the zoo. And now you have a full bar in there too, which you didn't have at the prior.
Correct.
I got to imagine you're killing it.
That was moving to that location was far and away the best business decision we ever made, for a couple reasons. The main one being much more capacity. I tell people we were like on a 1 to 2 hour wait for 5 years, because we couldn't make enough food, which is a great problem. Now we have a giant 2,200 square foot kitchen. We bought the building, which is great.
That's fabulous. I didn't know that.
We own the building. And the other thing that's really huge is I share 220 parking spots with that hotel in perpetuity.
Oh, wow.
As part of that, the buildings were obviously built together. This is the hotel restaurant, I suppose. And so, we have, a couple hundred parking spots off street, secure in the city. It's fantastic.
And you're probably the only reason anybody stays at that hotel.
And I'll tell you this, that hotel runs
Cheeseburger
90%
tourism.
occupancy.
It doesn't really.
Yeah.
And that's before we got there.
Huh.
That's I asked that of the GM.
Now they're at 110% occupancy.
Now, this looks
People
like
are
this just
sleeping
may be a
outside.
plain burger.
That
is
is
right?
that is a double plane that somebody.
Oh, you know what?
ordered.
I think we were going to give that to Brody. Brody normally is in the crowd, but he is on another shoot today.
Okay.
So we'll just put that aside. That's how he likes it. I may take that with me if nobody wants to eat it and surprise him with it later.
Nobody wants to eat that.
He does.
Not
he likes
when Mac-
it. Listen, he loves the taste of just good quality beef.
Yeah.
He doesn't obscure it. That said, I like it with all the other stuff you come up with. Which one's this one?
That looks like. Can I see the box? It looks like it's either the dirty or the gaiuti.
It looks.
It's a triple gaiuti.
Oh my God!
So it's 3 pork patties. It's some Provel cheese, some pickled red onions, and then some bacon jam.
Wow!
I think it's one of the most underrated cheeseburgers on our menu. It is delicious.
Well, I can tell. I don't know what else we're looking, but I can tell you the ones that I always get when I go in there, depending on my mood. But my typical is the lumberjack.
it's my favorite burger.
Yeah,
that we make.
that to me, and I don't know if that's here or not, but that's the one that I usually tout. I love the Southside Mac, which I know is kind of your version of an elevated Big Mac.
Yes.
The flavor profiles are amazing. But those are my
Hand me
go-tos.
plates, and I can.
Now, did you say these are pork patties?
They are pork
Andy,
patties.
why don't you talk about, the impact that a pork patty had on your life? Because you really were the one that introduced me to pork patties, and I don't want to take credit for it.
It was at Max, and I always thought a burger is not pork. And a friend of mine ordered one, and what burger was it? It had, I think, some pork and some beef patties.
Maybe a half and half.
Yeah.
Or the lumberjack is like that as well.
Oh, the lumberjack. Yeah, he ordered the lumberjack. And I tried it, and I ate the rest of it. I mean, I was shocked at how great a pork burger patty
And this is
can
ground
be.
pork.
Ground pork?
Yeah.
Pork.
Now,
Yeah, the beef and the pork play very well together.
they do.
Unbelievably well. It makes sense. I mean, in a good Italian meatball, they're always combining beef and pork.
Maybe
And it's
veal.
delicious.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, that's
That's
very
one of those
good.
napkins, Chris. Absolutely.
Yeah, pass them now.
Yeah, we'll send a few down. That's delicious. I'd never had a pork patty until I went to Max.
I don't know that I had either.
And now I when I go back, everything I get has at least one pork patty on it. Even if I do a Southside Mac, I haven't thrown
See,
pork
Max
in there.
is what I was talking about when I went on my rant against the smash burger. The problem is, if you don't do a smash burger like Max, a lot of people are just relying on everything else on the burger. They're not really making a great burger.
Right.
Max is making a great burger. And I think it helped people mask their inability to make a good burger by making smash burgers. And they're all pretty good. This is exceptional. If everyone made smash burgers like this, I'd be okay with it. But it really took away from like those big, thick, good burgers. They're probably more expensive. They're probably harder to make. And I think since the smash burger took off, those kind of went by the wayside. And you get a good one of those, and it is outstanding. So there is a place for Max. I just wish everyone either did it, at least tried to do it as well, or went to a thicker burger.
Fair enough.
I love any place that clearly puts the quality of their product first and lets everything flow from that. I think those become successful businesses. They certainly make for the best restaurants.
Yeah, I mean, I say it all the time. We buy good raw materials and we get out of their way.
Now,
We try not to mess them
Where
up.
do you get the pig? Where do you get the pork from? You're picking out pigs too?
I'm picking out these are we get our pigs from Meadowlark Farm. They're red wattles. They're large blacks, and then they have a cross, which they call a black wattle. Those are the heritage breeds of the pigs that we get. Typically, so the processor will call me and ask for instructions. What do you want to do to these animals? How would you like to, process this? The bellies and the jowls, we usually have them turned into bacon. The hams, the shoulders, the loins, the tenderloins, the hocks. That's our ground pork. So it's not quite a whole pig because we like bacon, but it is most of
I mean,
the pig.
I don't
gets
think
this
most
one? Is
people
this one?
realize the level of detail.
dirty.
Yeah, you
double
love that
dirty.
one. You
Yeah.
used to love that one.
Also pork.
But I mean, consider the difference between something like this, where this guy knows the cuts of meat, the farms, the animals. You can do that for lunch, or you can do what?
Ed Mac.
Go to Subway Deli and get a teenager who calls themselves a sandwich artist and eat God knows what crap. I don't know
go-
why anybody would do that. Why
Just
would
so you-
anybody do that over this? Ever?
I don't know. Did you have a like any sort of history in the meat business? Have you learned all this just since doing this? I mean, you sound like I could hand you a whole pig and you could slice it up right now.
I could break down a pig if we had a pig in front of us.
Wow.
Long before I had a restaurant. The restaurant turns 8 in February. Before I had the restaurant, I started a company called Max Local Buys, and we did, we still do, meat shares and food subscriptions. So I made a decision 6 years prior to incorporating that business that I wanted to eat cleaner proteins. And I learned really quickly, if you buy the whole animal, it's more economical. You get a better price because you're paying top dollar for these well-raised proteins, unconventional, right? The conventional stuff is the common commodity stuff. And you get to tell the processor, how thick you want your steaks and how many per pack and, how much ground you want. And so we did that for 6 years. I incorporated, because the thing, just friends and family, the thing blew up. Like the last cow buy we did, we bought 5 cows and we split it between 50 people. That was all charitable. There was no money. That was just a group of people in St. Louis coming together to eat some good meat. And the last pig buy we did.
Beautiful.
And the last
What a beautiful notion.
It's not. It's just
The world's a beautiful place.
This is how it all came about. I was in IT, and I was organizing these buys. While I had a full-time job and spending a lot of time. And my job moved to India, also real. And my wife encouraged me to incorporate. So I incorporated Max Local Buys. For the first few years, we worked out of the Civil Life Brewery down in Tower Grove South. A very good friend of mine owns that, Jake. And we did that for 5 years. We had all the pickups at his brewery. It was new. It was great. I was putting people on his door. And in the search for a roof for a retail market, when the guys over at on TAM had this retail space, and when I went there to look at it, we thought it was great. They asked me, and here it is, do you have any interest in taking over this kitchen? We've been trying to sell food for 7 years. We've changed the menu. We've changed the chef. It's not working. Do you have any interest in that?
And that's where we first discovered you, was at that TAM location.
And that's
where it
how
all
that
started.
happened. Yeah, 100%.
That was originally a kitchen. I really genuinely thought it was like a broom closet, and you guys were like, hey, can we try this out here? And you made it in, it was tiny.
It was about 300 square feet.
It was. And yeah, we went. We actually hosted an attorney dinner there. And then it was at your second location where we filmed the episode that we did last time.
You're the Lemp.
Lemp and Cherokee.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was beautiful. We filmed that one outside with that beautiful brick background. One of my favorite episodes.
That's one of the greatest, best patios in St. Louis. It's beautiful.
What's there now?
I don't know.
Anything?
Just the brewery.
Okay.
Just the brewery.
I will say another thing about Max, the new location. It's like pretty much the only restaurant that if I'm trying to get an agreement between my two children as to where they want to get lunch, they'll go back and forth with their preferences. But if I say Max, both of them say, yeah, we'll do.
And if they don't, they're just being petty.
It is. It's the only one, though, that they'll both, like they get excited that I'm willing to make a little extra drive on the weekend. Because I work down, obviously, near you, where you're right around the corner.
Right.
So during the week makes more sense. But I will make the trip on the weekend if I've got them and they want to go.
Have we ever seen, or will we ever see, a St. Louis style barbecue pork steak sandwich? I mean, you got the
I'm not
pig.
supposed to fire up a barbecue pit or a smoker on my property per the HOA. That's a true story.
So I'm going to say no.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Do it on the sidewalk.
He's got a good deal going there. He's got
one's stop you.
half of the 200 plus parking spots.
No, but I feel like a good, because
Now,
when
this is coming as a surprise to me. This is a French dip.
That is a French dip. That's that is one of the few times where we pulled some dry aged tenderloins off the cow. And
I don't want to touch it for him.
my hands are very clean.
Grab that one.
yeah, we pulled some tenderloins and we sous vide them
That's that way you do them.
to 125 degrees, so nice and mid rare. And then we toast the bread. We melt the cheese. It's got some pickles and onions on there, and then we obviously made the jus for the dippy dip. So
What's the difference in jus and au jus?
Pronunciation.
yeah.
Why don't you just take a dip? Do the dip.
I think the jus.
So one of the things we get when we buy these animals is we get bones,
means
so it's very easy for us to make some beef
whip
stock.
juice, au juice, like a la mode. Ooh, that looks good.
Do you actually pick a particular cow or pig?
No.
So you just tell them what you want.
No, I've been to the processor. This is somebody's. And see them.
Oh, do you really?
But no, I'm not picking them out.
So it's not like
Per
a
se.
sushi chef who is looking at the tuna and
No. It's a little different.
Well, I've exaggerated your participation in past appearances.
is there a is there much
He picks out the cows. You pick out the
fair
style.
enough.
You pick out the style of cow.
when they're all raised together
farm.
like that? Is there much variation between the flavors, or they're all basically the same? The cows.
No, I don't.
pigs.
No, I
You're never
think-
like, oh, this is a good cow.
No, when you talk about like affecting flavor of meat, probably the biggest one is stress, which is why that's what's
Really?
probably, and also probably the biggest difference between an animal that is sort of well raised on dirt, if you will, on a pasture versus conventional being finished in a feedlot and densely packed, maybe not even walking on dirt, maybe walking on concrete or grates. Stress is a big thing. Diet also big, and certainly genes.
That's delicious. That's very buttery. That's
Yes.
very soft, buttery meat. You know what I'm thinking? Garlic cream cheese on the bun.
Oh, sure.
With that dip, I think I go that way.
Just brush
the
because
top
it
with
really
that oil.
because it really plays like really
Just to-
good prime rib is what
To
it
go
tastes
back
like.
to
Yeah, that's
something
100%.
you talked about, so you wouldn't want to pick a cow that's a warrior. Right?
Right.
You want to pick a cow with a good head,
Yeah, good head on his shoulders.
Have you done?
Yeah.
Have you ever done like, some burger places will have like a $200 burger, like with Wagyu or so. Have you ever done one of those kind of things?
We did a Wagyu burger last year for Burger Week. With Burger Week is going on right now. That's something we should probably talk about. Sauce
wow.
Magazine, RFT, the Burger Week.
There we go.
Last year we did. I sourced a Wagyu cow, and we half of it, turned it all in, hung it for 4 weeks, turned it all into ground beef, and then we did a Wagyu burger, double patty for the Burger Week. And I would tell you here, to your point about the taste. We did a side-by-side when we brought it in because we were curious what the Black Angus versus this Wagyu. And the Black Angus that we use every day had much more beef umami in your face. They were both hung for the same time. The beefiness of the meat was significant. It wasn't.
what is
It
umami?
wasn't a little.
Is that the Japanese word for savory?
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Look at you.
Yeah. And so I looked up the genes of the Wagyu cow that we got. Akaushi, I think, is one of the 2 sets of genes that can come to America from Japan. They they hold some of those genes close.
Yeah.
They can't, they don't share them. And it's known to be mildly beef flavored.
Huh.
And I thought, well, it is. I can taste it.
I never got the whole Wagyu thing because it seems like it's mostly fat.
Isn't it Kobe? Is Kobe? In
There's
Wagyu,
Kobe
the
beef and-
American Kobe?
No, I think Wagyu is it American or is it Australian or
Well, but there's Kobe beef that they
that
always-
has to come from.
they'd massage the cows and
Low stress environment.
That's right. I don't know where Wagyu's from.
I don't know
Maybe
if
it is
anybody out there
American.
knows. 612 all fours. Let us know where Wagyu meat comes from.
Google it. Well, listen, this was
I'm trying to
delicious.
get engagement. I will say one thing before we let you go, because I thought everything was fabulous, but you also feature other local businesses within your business. And you introduced us to an ice cream sandwich filled with like black raspberry ice cream. And I know it was from a local place, but I don't remember where
Sugary
it was.
Bakery.
Do you still have those?
We do.
They are fabulous, folks. Leave room in your belly if you go to Max. Go to the freezer case, grab one of these black raspberry ice cream sandwiches. It is, it's one of the best. I mean, it's the best ice cream sandwich I've ever had. But black raspberry ice cream, see, you'd love that because you like those.
No, I love black rice.
Let me
Are
tell
they
you,
still over,
it is amazing.
That's my
in Tower
favorite
Grove?
Sugary is at, where's it at? West Park and Tam in Dogtown.
Can you actually get
Okay, they used to be
black
over on Tower Grove, right?
I don't think so.
It's in the ice cream sandwich.
That wasn't them.
No, I'm
Who
saying
had
but you can't go to the store. and
the
get
ice
black.
cream, the
I bet you
Airstream?
can, but not as good. as
Oh, Sugar Witch. And they're in, they're over by,
Olio and Elia. Or they used
well, that's
to be.
where it was. And now they have a brick and mortar over in Carondelet area.
Okay. Well, listen, I
that was
appreciate this.
fabulous. Thank you.
Thank you.
This was
Thank you.
delicious.
Thanks for reaching out.
Yeah, no,
Happy to be a
believe
part of
me,
the podcast.
It
for
is.
sure.
It is a joy to eat your food.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean that.
Fair enough. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay,
And
what do
while
we
we
do?
transition to
Yeah,
our
what do we
next
do
segment,
now?
Cole, can I get a refill? A lot of ice.
What do we do now?
Oh, he even brought us some stickers.
Yeah.
That was my son's idea.
I love it. We'll take them.
See what we got.
What are we gonna do?
Oh, yeah, sometimes I'll
We're
put
gonna put 'em on
stickers put them on my travel luggage, put them on my water bottles.
Yeah.
I like to decorate my water bottles, my Yetis. People out there, they have these Stanleys. Have you had one of these Stanleys? Have you have you bought into the hype? Is there anything special? I see everybody in the office carrying these enormous Stanleys with the straw popping out the middle.
That's my
The straw
problem.
doesn't bend. You got to always put the cup and it's heavy as hell. You have that thing filled with ice water. I got one for my mother because I was trying to keep her hydrated. It's like 40 pounds.
It is.
I'm built. I'm not strong enough for a Stanley.
A straw water bottle because there's no way you're getting that thing clean.
That's true, and it doesn't bend. You have a straw that's that stiff and that long, and you've got to hold the drink like this. You got to hold it in your lap, like you're Santa with a kid.
You know, I don't love paper straws. I don't love metal straws.
I didn't know that.
Oh, my wife hates paper straws.
I
Here's
don't
the
like
problem
any
with
straw,
paper
quite
straws.
frankly.
The paper straw disintegrates. It deteriorates to the point where you can't finish your drink.
Exactly.
Metal straws I don't love either because I don't like drinking with the
tinny.
metal.
It's
But
tinny.
I went to a restaurant. I'm not going to name the restaurant, but I will say it was an outstanding restaurant.
You could name it then.
No, I don't want to because I don't want to say anything at all critical of them, and I'm about to.
What they
I take a, I
you
come
love the
up,
restaurant, but
I
he's
take
about
a
to
sip of my
criticize their straw.
soda, and I've never seen a restaurant use metal straws before. I have some concerns about the sanitary nature of them using them, but I go to drink, and you're not like, when you're using a straw generally, you're not like conscious of the fact that if you come in too hot, you're going to break your tooth. It's plastic, so you just kind of bring it up. When you bring up a metal straw, you hit it, because you're not expecting it.
No. It corrupted your expectation.
Well, it should. There should be
Took you
some
by
warning.
surprise.
Hey,
Why
careful!
don't they
It's a
use
metal
silicone?
straw.
Isn't silicone a safe alternative to plastic? I mean, it doesn't have the same pollution problems.
we don't know.
It has flexibility. I thought this might have been one of those. I took a wild stab that you might know something about silicone.
We don't know.
It's a shit because I think silicone. You could put it in a microwave. You can't put plastic in a microwave.
Yeah, no, we don't know.
I don't know. I don't know how it goes.
No idea.
Can somebody 612 all
right.
fours?
Yeah.
If you can talk about silicone, we'd love to hear from you. Terry, I want to give you the floor
We'd
because
love to hear from anybody.
you wanted to correct. Earlier today, you made a joke under a different setting.
Yeah.
You want to give them the setup and give us the better punchline that you've come up with?
Yeah, it was the idea that there was a famous Broadway musical called Cats, which involved cats, actual animals.
Felines.
Called cats, yes.
CATS.
And so I made a little joke when Andy mentioned it that there had been another Orthodox Jewish show called Cats about a accountant.
KATZ.
Yes. And I just realized that dermatologist would have been a much funnier occupation for the guy in my.
Really?
Why is dermatology funnier?
I just think it's a funnier word than
Why not go all out for proctology?
because nobody knows what that is. Dermatology.
Oh, I think people know what a
they
I mean,
proctologist
listen, I
is.
didn't want to argue about it. I just wanted
No,
to
I'm just
correct
trying to.
No,
I
no,
want to deconstruct
for the record,
Will
Lord,
you put these
Lord, for the
condiments
record,
in a cup so we
I
can,
want it to be changed.
if we need them in the future, we will have them, please?
Well, can we ever do that? Can we actually put ketchup on things?
I just
I mean,
did. What do you
that's-
mean?
No,
Dad?
but in front of him, I would have felt funny. Did you put ketchup on
yeah.
your
Oh,
No,
on
no,
your
they
burger?
make ketchup
I
available.
dipped.
I didn't put it.
also-
I didn't have to put anything on it.
But you actually
but I
made
would
a
have.
statement about that you didn't like, or you did, that, the condiments sort of mask.
No,
the
I don't
Which
mean-
I think they do.
Yeah,
They do.
but
I
I
think
don't
you
mean
mean like
just
the
a little
lettuce, the
ketchup.
tomato,
But
like a lot
it's
of
more than
toppings.
that. A big sauce, a lot of sauce, a fried egg. It just, if you go to all these smash burger places, you go to Max, you go to any of them, it's like an Italian restaurant. You really want to start off somewhere, you get spaghetti with meatballs.
Right.
That's going to tell you everything you need to know about that
Because
place.
they can't get their
That's right.
basic fundamental essentials down.
So
Why
you
even
go to
bother
Max
with the other stuff?
and you just order a cheeseburger plain. And I'm telling you something, it's going to be delicious. You go to all these other smash burger places and you just order a cheeseburger plain. It's not always going to be delicious.
You never took me to Max. I've never heard of Max.
Seriously?
Yeah, yes, I've actually- it's
you
on
did
video.
The episode. Yeah.
No, but I mean, I've never actually gone there for lunch.
Oh, we should absolutely go there.
well, you went there for lunch in the
and I
episode.
do look, well, I know, but I'm saying I've never, you guys talk like you've been there a bunch of times.
I've been there a million times.
Yeah, no,
I go all the
I've
time.
I never, where is
I'll
it?
take it. It's right on Oakland. We
Right.
could
Oh,
get
yeah,
there if
I've
we went
passed
from
it.
here because we're on
I've
Daggett.
passed it.
You know what we've got
If
here?
you just take
I
it to
passed it.
Macklin's to Oakland,
Yeah,
you're
no,
right
I
there.
know exactly where it is now.
It's a great place.
I'll stop because
I
I
see
like
you've got a
burgers.
the
box.
show
It's wrapped.
has been given a gift.
Wow.
Folks,
Thank
we just
you.
want to thank you in advance and hope that it's not a body part.
I believe this is
How
from
about a bomb?
our.
Wouldn't that be something? The only thing good if
Then
it
we
was a
get
bomb
people-
is we know we'd get views.
And then we get views for the old
Because
episodes.
that's the sick, sick world that we live in. Nobody will
Oh,
care
God.
until we're killed tragically.
Speaking of getting views, my wife, there's some, and I say this
With love.
like the common man. My wife, there is apparently some TikTok candy, some Swedish candy sold in Great Britain.
Oh, she told me.
Okay.
She orders it.
What is
It's all over
Okay.
TikTok. They have like
Okay.
10, 15 million followers. I don't even know the name. She orders it in May. It arrives a few days ago. UPS comes and they say, here's your package, ma'am. That will be $565 COD, cash on
I
delivery.
can't even believe that they still have COD, but go ahead.
I couldn't
Who
believe
has that
it
much
either.
cash?
It was insane. So she said, what? And she contacts the company. They don't come back. So then she takes to TikTok and people love a good rant. And she's getting like 15,000 views on these things. People are commenting, well, now I'm not going to order from there and blah, blah, blah. So the company now contacts her and is sort of going back and forth with her saying, oh, this was a mistake. UPS, I don't know. So she is embroiled in this TikTok battle.
I think she's blown the lid off of a major scandal, a rip-off scam.
No, because I'll tell you this. They have, like I said, 14 million followers. She did not find a single other person who experienced this. Everyone just loves
Do you
this
think
candy.
it was the UPS driver scamming her?
I don't
Do you
know.
think it goes,
No,
you think it
don't
goes bigger than that?
Ever talk about my UPS driver like that?
You have a UPS driver? Did you
Well,
get the same? Is it the same in your neighborhood?
It is generally the same, and it's a woman who is wonderful, who has
What
been.
was the $500 for?
No one really knows. They claim it was a mistake, and they're going to take care of it.
UPS made a mistake?
Nobody seems to know. It's
Nobody's-
because
there are no
it's
mistakes,
It's email
folks. There's only
between
scams.
someone in Great Britain and UPS and Steph, and I don't really care that much. So I'm just
Maybe
I'm
somebody
only getting
missed a
bits and
decimal
pieces.
point.
So
But
did
she
she
still
ever
does not
get-
have
the key
the candy.
question is how. Oh, she doesn't even have the candy.
no,
no, she
paid-
still hasn't. No, she didn't pay it.
Didn't you know? But she had paid like $100.
No, so the candy itself, she bought like $200 worth of candy, which is a problem in and of itself.
Well, but if you're getting it from far away and you know there's a long wait and you think it's going to be amazing, so you envision either sharing or
$200.
storing.
Or not
$200.
ordering.
You stock up. You stock up
Or-
on that
or
candy.
just
What kind
passing.
of candy is it? Like a chocolate? Is it
I
a
don't know.
hard candy? A
And
sucker?
then some of it comes in, and this we're going down a lot of
Seems
rabbit
like a
holes.
sucker.
Do you know what a snackle box is?
I do not.
It's it's a
Oh,
play
wait a
on
second.
words.
I think I may know what this is.
yeah, it's a tackle box for snacks.
But do they do it internationally where they pick different countries and they fill it with all the snacks from that nation and you get to try snacks from different
Well,
nations?
I think it's
'Cause
like
I saw that online.
It's like a tackle box. You can fill it with whatever you want.
You
sure.
don't know. You don't know.
Have you
No,
seen?
no. They do. So one of the things she got was a snackle box with candies from different countries.
Yeah. I saw one of these. Have you seen this? I think she's Hawaiian. It's an
My
older
wife?
woman. No, it's like a grandma
Wait,
type.
Is this the candy?
No, this
is
isn't the
another
candy.
gal. But there's a gal. Have you seen this? She's an older Hawaiian woman.
No.
And she does these videos on TikTok with like her granddaughter or maybe it's her children. Anyway, check her out. Type it in. Funny Hawaiian lady. I find her to be so charming, so endearing. She just makes me smile every time I see her.
What did that have to do with snackle boxes?
She ordered a snackle
Oh,
box
she
and
did.
she tried all of the snacks from India. And her daughter was giving them grades on a 1 to 10 scale. And she was going, that's an 8, that's an 8. And the grandmother would taste everything. She'd go, 10 for me. And it's just charming. Check
like
her
that.
out. She's a delight. She'll make you smile.
You know, I love one of my favorite TikTokers it's Mrs. She and Mr. He. It's an Asian woman who cooks this crazy stuff all the time. It looks delicious, and they're a very funny couple. They have a lot of
I
followers.
like that. So, there's a lot of people. And I mean, listen, not everybody out there has got enough material to fill a TV series or a whole movie. But there's a lot of people
Like
out
us.
there that have just enough material that they can pull off like a special video or
Yeah.
a special moment. And I love that we have a platform for them to do that.
Not for long.
So I believe this is.
it's not going anywhere.
This is from Tammy Kay, I believe, our our marketing agency network.
Our agency, she's
affiliates.
up in Denver, Colorado.
And this is substantial.
It's a letter saying she's firing us.
Oh boy, yeah, that's right. Again,
She's dropping us as a client.
that is
look
a
at this.
Brown and
That's
Crouppen.
very nice.
It is a cutting board that has
Let me
been
see.
emblazoned,
I'm
branded.
going to look forward to
that's
cutting
nice.
on
branded.
Wait, why do you get it?
because I do the cutting.
Yeah, it's for the show.
for the
we're
show.
going to use in this show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
You, can't
You want
take
it, you
home.
can have it.
I
You
do
can't
like
take
the
it home.
thickness on that. What
Yeah.
did you show the audience just how thick that cutting board
Yeah,
is?
I'm going to
It
show
It
you.
also has non-slip feet.
Put something next to it.
Well,
so
I'm gonna
they
put
can
the
tell
other
how
cutting board.
thick
Well,
it
but
is.
the feet
Yeah, look
are
at
essential.
that.
Because
Look
the
how
other
much-
one didn't have non-sleep feet, and as you were cutting, it was shimmying back and forth.
was.
I bet you on this new one, there will be no shimmy.
What would
no
you
shimmy.
say? That's 3 of the other one?
Yeah,
Yeah,
close to
you
it.
don't know. do
Yeah,
you?
I would say that's
You're a
that's,
bad estimator.
Well, I'm a bad estimator if you just say how tall is that building, but on that does
Solid
appear
as
to
a
be
rock.
about 3 times as thick.
I
with
love
the
it.
slip guards and our name, our logo
No, that's
emblazoned,
very-
branded.
What do you think that cost?
That
you-
looks
when
like
you're assuming
Well,
they-
let's have a little contest.
Assuming they bought
Hmm.
like in bulk.
no,
gonna
they didn't
say-
buy in bulk because it's got our logo on
No,
it.
but
They had
I'm
to
sure they go
personalize
to a
it.
company that buys, puts the things
Given the
on it.
thickness
That's
And-
probably a laser.
and what I know of cutting boards, I'm going to call that
$23.
$79.99.
Oh, really?
Yep.
No.
Oh, what did you say?
23?
23. Did you buy a cutting board in 1945?
Yeah.
No, but
no,
I'm
no.
sure they bought 500 of them.
No, that's nice wood.
No. And that had to be done
Maybe walnut.
specifically with our logo
Here,
on there.
give me my phone. Let me call her and ask.
Yeah, look, give her a call.
No, let's not. Put
I know
her
it's
on the
tacky to
spot.
ask, but I mean, we're in the
Hey, thanks for
podcast.
the gift. How much was it?
You know what we do is say we love the gift. What was the website? We don't have to tell her we're
No,
looking at the price.
no, we don't need to. We
I could
love
probably
the gift
find
and
that.
we want to buy one for somebody else.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, see, we lie.
give us get the
It is-
website.
We lie to her.
I'm gonna go. You
Here.
said 79.
Thank God she never watches our
Yeah.
podcast.
No, she does. What'd you say?
$79.99. That's my plus, shipping and handling.
All right, I'm gonna go 78 then.
You're taking the under. That's fine.
No, that's
the under.
That's a shitty move. I hate
$1.
when people
No, it
do
doesn't.
that.
You know what? It doesn't bother me.
No, let me really analyze that. I think 79 is very close. I'm gonna say it was
$79.99.
slightly less. I'm actually gonna go.
Oh, Jen's going higher. She's going 119.
Really?
119?
Nah.
She's going 119. I don't think you may very well be right. Customized stuff. How much? Okay,
It's a very
Steven
thick cutting
is
board.
going
Anybody
124.99. Anybody else want to venture a guess before we call Tammy?
89.
You're going 89.
89.
I'm going 79.99, and you're going lower.
You don't need to call her. I'm
Well-
just gonna go to the website. Whiskey
Oh, you
Made.
have the web. Oh, okay. We're gonna find out here, folks. This is either gonna be someone's gonna get shocked. I think most likely Terry.
and this
When
is
he
really.
sees that the shipping alone is 23.
I feel like we are really embarrassing ourselves
130?
here.
Is that what you looked it up? And she's guessing 130.
You know what?
He's going a straight 99.99.
It's going to be, I think, more expensive than you think.
Well, 145.
Ooh, they have engraved. Oh, that's cool. You can send them
Hey,
a
Tammy, it's
photograph.
Terry Crouppen. We're doing a podcast right now, and
You
we
can
just
send them a
opened
photograph.
The cutting board you sent us, which, by the way, was beautiful.
We love it.
We love it, and we may want to buy some for somebody else. And we were discussing how much it costs you. And,
I told him not to call you. I think this is disgusting, Tammy.
We thought we had the kind of
No,
relationship we could just ask you.
But I've known you 25 years. Tell me, can you give me a
Precise
per
figure?
unit, a good guess of
Disgusting.
what it costs?
Oh, I think he's leaving a voicemail. Oh no, he's got her on.
Disgusting.
Okay.
What? She made it
Okay.
herself
Okay. So
with
it
a
was
soldering gun?
$33.50.
No, that's
No.
he's lying.
Did you hear her say,
gotta
Katie?
Tammy,
Close
thank
your
you,
mouth,
dear.
Cole.
Thank
That's
you.
just
I
his
was
sense
right.
of humor.
I think I heard her say, Katie, put your
Thank
axe
you, baby.
down. Terry has a
I gotta
question.
run. It's in the middle of a podcast. $33. Okay, thank you, dear.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
$100, $99.
Was it 99.99?
Yeah, I'm pretty
All
sure.
right, Cole with the winner.
Oh, and you know what's
99.99.
interesting? Now this makes sense. It is, if you see on the side, it's made from a bourbon barrel.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
Oh, well, yeah, now you tell us.
$99.
Did you
I
smell the
thought it
bourbon?
was just a
Were you
piece
of
smelling?
can't smell the bourbon.
Was there bourbon in there? No. That's pretty awesome. That's a nice gift.
No,
If
they-
anybody else wants to send us a gift,
If you smell bourbon, it's coming
we're
from
down
his
on
breath.
the hill, 4900 Daggett. If you want to send us a gift in the form of a sweet message, you can
Yeah.
leave us a message at
But
612
not
all
a
fours.
No ticking clocks. No envelopes filled with mysterious powders.
Yes.
Yeah, let's
Now, if they're not
we're
mysterious
human beings
powders, we'll
with
take
families. Have families to take care of. So don't do anything. You know what? Forget. Don't send us anything.
What?
Call us on. Call us.
Don't
I'm not
send
gonna
him anything.
I'm not opening anything. Are
I
you-
keep my
Can you
I'm not. I
imagine
keep
what
my
the-
heart open and my
Can you
mailbox.
imagine the greatest podcast that will be just our shredded bodies?
You know, a friend of mine, my friend
It's the way to go.
Michael,
not that.
sent, this is years and years and years ago, 20 years ago, for some reason sent a bottle of Jack Daniels to another friend of ours in just a box, much like this, but like packaged it weird and wasn't well marked. His father gets it and I guess, or gets the package, and it looked very suspicious. And instead of just opening it like a normal person, called the bomb squad, and they ended up like blowing up this package and finding out it was just a bottle of Jack Daniels.
Yeah, but nobody was killed in that whole chain of
Very
events.
strange.
Yeah, you're not going to get us that simple.
Oh, you're a guy who takes pride in the number of steps he gets daily.
I do a little bit.
So there have been 2 times this week when I said, I can't tell you. I'm going to save it for the podcast.
Oh.
The first was the World Expo.
yeah.
And then I stopped myself and waited to talk to you about it here.
Yeah.
And this is the other one. I was looking in my, my Oura Ring my Oura Ring, I guess. And I look at the historical data for my steps from the year 2022 and 2023. The average number of steps I got for the entire year in those years, the difference between 22 and 23 was 5 steps.
Wow.
Isn't that incredible?
That is incredible. You're
that is.
incredibly consistent.
I guess so, but it doesn't feel like it because some days I'll get a lot. I'll go through phases where I don't get many.
But I guess things
lose
average
all that
out.
when you do it for over a year. You know, those are those
5
anecdotal. You
steps.
remember one day.
Do you know that there was a baseball player that played for the Oakland A's
Yeah.
that had a 247 batting average and had that exact same batting average 4 consecutive seasons?
Wow.
That's insane.
Yeah.
You know, anybody that follows baseball knows
Because that's
the
even
stats.
more out of your
That
control.
That's insane.
That really
4
is.
straight years.
Huh.
But you know, statistical anomaly should happen.
It does.
Stuff happens.
Things
It sure
happen.
does.
Sorry
It sure
about that,
does.
folks. I'm just keeping it real. What
Well,
else we
any
got?
event that happens when you look
We
back
can move to,
looks
oh.
statistically impossible.
It's true.
You almost got into a fist fight with Donald Duck.
Yes, I did. That's a true story. That's true fact.
Tell us about that.
Okay, and this just goes back. It's a shame
Donald
because
Duck?
I feel the
Yeah,
Donald
was
Duck.
it just some guy with a funny
No,
Well, you know, I grew up,
This
there was a
the
guy
Donald Duck.
In my high school, as I recall, his name was Donald Duckworth. Are you sure it wasn't him?
It wasn't him unless he was in the costume.
Also
but-
a Jack Daniels.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that seems like the parents were very deliberate. They wanted that kid
No,
to be an
they weren't
alcoholic.
related.
Oh, but maybe they just wanted the kid to be an
Oh,
alcoholic.
don't we
Maybe.
have a woman here that's Dill Pickle?
Yeah, Rose Dill
Rose Dill Pickle. Anyway, so it was not Donald Duckworth. It was that guy.
It was the real Donald
Can you
Duck.
talk while you make that noise?
I was in Disney World
Can't talk.
for my. This is now you've met my son on here. He's 22 now, but on his 6th birthday, I took him to Animal Kingdom in Disney
16
World.
years ago.
Yeah, and you know the place. There's a safari buffet. I don't know what they call it, but it's a
think
safari
it's called the
buffet.
safari
yeah,
buffet.
and it's a wonderful breakfast. Very expensive. Anybody that's ever been to Disney World, any meal that involves the characters is a fortune.
Yeah.
And the way they do it is the characters go one by one, and they go table by table, and they take a moment. They'll pose for pictures. They go to the next table. So I'm there, and I'm trying to get Brody with each of the different characters. Now, the main guy at this particular buffet is Donald Duck. It's the Donald Duck Animal Safari Buffet, whatever. And I see him coming. He's a couple tables away. Brody's got to use the bathroom. And I mean, when a 6-year-old tells you he's got to pee, you don't have time to
take that
spare because they don't
seriously.
give you a lead time. Yeah. So he's running off. I go over to Donald and I say, listen, I'm a couple tables away. My son just ran to pee. Hopefully he'll be back in time. But if not, I can't have him miss Donald. Okay. He clearly heard me. There was not a question about that. So he comes
With them
over.
big old ears.
He comes over, to a couple more tables. I'm still waiting for Brody to get back from the bathroom. Comes to my table. And I tell him, I said, my son will be back any second. Just hang here for a second. Or if you need to go to the next table, that's fine. But then come right back to this one and move on because we got to get your picture. And he gave me what looked like a soft nod, but I couldn't really tell if he did or not. But I know he heard me. So he goes to the next table. Brody comes out. And I say, oh, Donald, he's back. And I mean, literally, he's just right there next to me. It's not like he's moved on. I just needed him to turn around for 1 second.
Yeah.
He wouldn't do it. And I knew he could hear me. And I don't know. See, I have a very sensitive spot when it comes to Brody. You know that I'm extremely protective because he's got his own.
Many parents
feel
that.
that way about their kids.
Brody is different for me.
Yeah. That's what everyone says.
The Donald, and I got up in the duck's face and I said, don't act like you can't hear me. I know you can hear me. You're going to turn around now and pose for a goddamn picture with my son. It's his 6th birthday, for Christ's sake.
And then we're walking out of here with a driver's license.
Since you know what I paid for this effing buffet, I got all up in there. Well, let me tell you, even though it's a fixed facial expression because it's a costume, I feel like the facial expression changed.
Yeah.
I feel like there was fear in Donald's fake eyes. And he turned around, took that picture, and moved on about his business. We were politely asked to leave. But that's okay, because that was the last picture I needed. We got up, we got the hell out of there.
Gee, listen, I wish you'd actually had a fight with him.
That is a fight. It's a verbal altercation. I went chest. He's got that big chest. He's got that.
I can see them rolling on the ground.
It was Safari Donald too. He's not in the blue overalls.
That would have been vacation type of stuff.
Listen, if it was being made into a movie, yes, they would have escalated it.
Would have done that.
Wow.
But in the real world, they would have arrested me for that. But make no mistake, I went all DMV.
Do you have this picture still?
On them. I do. I'll have to find it. I'll bring it into the next.
Is Donald making an angry look in the picture?
No, listen, I feel like he might have pooped himself. There might have been some poop, but it stayed in his costume.
I wonder if he walked away, if he gave you the finger with a 4-finger glove on.
Exactly. So it's like, when you have 4 fingers, there is no middle finger. There's just a space.
If you showed Brody this picture, does he? I'm assuming he knows this story well.
Are you kidding me?
Everyone in your family sees this picture and knows exactly what happened.
They know what preceded the event.
Yeah.
They saw a side of me too, because I was with my in-laws and they definitely saw a side of me that they had never seen before. I know you disagree, but I'm generally mild-mannered. But there are certain things that if you do something like that, I become very protective.
The day Daddy went crazy.
Yeah.
You know what? I feel like it's you know what it is?
I wish that duck would.
It's the reason I went into the law. It's the reason because you see a world filled with injustices, right? You see a world where you think, you know what? It wouldn't take that much effort to just do things correctly.
The first thing you think of in this world of injustices is I'm going to punch out Donald Duck.
Out Donald Duck. But you know what? It is. It's a symbol of layers of systems that have been built that were for them to make money, but not to do what's right by the people. And how many times have we seen it where people put profits over people? It's the reason we're in business. Because companies put profits over people.
How did he
if
do
they
that?
treated people fairly,
yes, you're absolutely.
If they treated people fairly, they wouldn't need us. But the reality of it is, people treat people the way Donald Trump treated my son, like crap. And it took somebody to get in there and advocate.
Of yourself,
if you
Donald
have
Trump.
A problem with Donald Duck, we're Brown
612 all fours. I want to hear about your duck story. There may be a class action in this.
You know, I tell people this all the time. The insurance companies could put us out of business today. They just need to be halfway fair with people.
Halfway decent. Halfway, just have a sense of justice.
Yeah.
Just a sense of it. Instead of greed.
Yeah. I think that's right.
But that's what we're in business for.
It turned into not to just a commercial, but a rant.
It's true.
Well, what do you think about Mickey Mouse?
I got no beef with the mouse.
Now, if you had been texting this to me,
Straight with me. I'm okay with the mouse.
Me and the mouse is good.
We're
we good.
Yeah, but Donald Duck, no.
Donald, he's still on the outs
dead to
with
me.
me.
He's dead to me.
He's still on the outs.
are you? Is there any possibility you're no longer allowed back in Disney or just
no.
that restaurant?
Now, should I tell you the part? At the very end, I whispered in his ear, and I slept with Daisy. That's it. And you could just picture that all night tonight when you're falling asleep.
You want to do that too?
That's what, just sort of.
I think it's time to switch topics.
That's what I
Who
told
doesn't
him.
wanna
I said
sleep
I
with-
slept with Daisy, Donald. You gotta live with that now.
Oh boy. If you had texted that to me, would you have used exclamation marks?
Which part about sleeping with
Any
Daisy?
of it.
Well, the sleeping with
Do
Daisy is more of
exclamation
a
marks
menacing whisper.
drive you nuts? I hate them.
They do. The only time I use an exclamation mark is after I say thank you. I feel like
No, that's the-
yeah, because you know what?
So
because if
let's
they
say
really did a solid for you, and you just go thank you, it just seems dead.
You ever do 3 or 4?
So, but think about what that means. Like Mac when he left. Thank you.
Yeah, well,
I mean, you're really like.
I don't know. Are you shouting it? Is that a shout?
It's a shame.
Or is it just an enthusiastic?
It's very strong.
I don't remember Matt doing that.
No, but I'm saying he's saying
did
that
Matt
would
yell,
we have?
Thank you. I
No,
didn't
no,
hear.
I'm
I
saying
thought it's my
Ed.
ears.
If we had, I just feel like an exclamation mark is. I'm sure there's a place for it somewhere, but I do not use them.
Really? But what if you're saying like,
Nope.
what if there's a text that says
Nope.
you're the best?
Nope.
I just feel like without an exclamation, it seems flat. It's
The
just,
words speak for themselves.
you're the best.
Oh, you. So
No,
you
but
think?
but there is an appropriate use. I think you're probably a victim of overuse.
Yeah. I mean,
And
certainly
that
you
way-
use it after the word wow. I mean, I think grammatically you have to.
Or holy shit.
Or ouch.
I really.
You definitely do it after holy shit.
If I
Don't tell me you don't.
No. But if I do, I don't mean it. I really don't. I really don't. I do. I may do it like at work, responding to an email with a wow, because I feel like if I don't, like you said, with the "you are great" or whatever you
falls
said,
flat, yeah.
like people. But I don't mean it. The exclamation mark. If you ever get an exclamation mark, I
You know
do
what?
not
I'm going
mean
to start
it.
adding it to the end of when I give people the middle finger. I'm going to, because that should have an exclamation mark,
Yes.
but you got to use another finger.
I hate
This
it.
is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do.
Watch how overused exclamation marks are.
You know something that I
coming
may
up with
use
something
a little
new
too
here.
much.
Yeah.
What do you call?
don't say what I think
What
you're
do you
gonna say.
call the 3 dots? The ellipsis.
That's what I always call them.
Yeah.
I always feel it's a.
I call it
it's
the
a,
dot, dot, dot.
I use it as a symbol of a profound thought that I've just communicated.
I think that's
You
okay.
know what I mean?
I use
And
it to
that's not
suggest
what
there's
it's
something
for.
about to come behind it that you got to stay tuned for.
Or,
Well,
or
I
there's
bet
something
there's
more
something
for you to
about
think
it.
about.
I've given everything I can
Yeah.
to this, and now I want to shoot myself.
Yes.
I'm about to take.
But he
an
never
overdose,
does. He
and
never
then it's
does.
Took a dark
the
turn,
3
you
thing.
know?
No, I'm just saying it's like
Prayer
you've
does
said
not work.
something profound.
Yeah.
I use it after that.
I think that's okay.
I don't
And the
know if
only
that's
thing,
correct.
the only
I
thing
think that's an appropriate
I
use.
find
Yeah, I
more
think it is.
offensive than the exclamation mark.
Oh, if there's something worse, yes.
Yeah, there is.
Those
Do
fucking
you find
commas.
it odd when a grown uses the word yummy?
Like sarcastically using it or
No,
using it
no.
sincerely?
No, sarcastic is. It just. I find it so strange. Like
It is strange.
I don't think it's.
that is strange. Wait, I've not. I mean, who? Anybody we know or?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, absolutely. I find I think you see it a lot more than you realize. Now that I've drawn your
All right,
attention
well,
to it,
I wish you
And
hadn't
I don't
drawn
have
my
a problem
attention
with
to
it.
it.
It just I'm trying to picture how could I would never use that.
Okay, but
It's
let's
just
say
so
let's say
strange.
you're acting.
Yeah.
You're in a film. Get into character for a moment. You
Okay.
just bit into something, a delicious
Yeah.
French fry. How would you deliver that so I know, like, sort of the cadence
Wow,
of what
with
you're
an
thinking about it?
exclamation.
No, but give me a yummy.
Oh, you mean I have to use
You
the
have
word
to
yummy.
use it. It's
He'd
in the
never-
script,
he'd
and your
ne-
character's going to say
He'd
it.
never use it.
Well, it depends on
He
the
could
character.
give it a dry turn. Yummy.
Well, but then it's not yummy.
Is yum's
That's
a
the
little
thing, is you
better,
make it.
right?
That's why it's a dry turn. It's irony.
Yum's
Yummy.
a little better.
Is it?
I think. Yeah,
It's a
yummy's
little lazy.
Yeah, I
Yum.
think it's a little. I don't know.
Yum.
You know what
Yummy.
you know
Yum.
what I've noticed.
Oh,
as
that
I
was
don't
that.
like
Those
As I've
burgers were
gotten
so
older,
yummy.
In casual encounter with women, I will use often hun, sweetie, sweetheart, and I know that people, I do it only with the kindest of intention.
You're
I think you're
in
at an
a
age where
little
you get a
bit
pass.
now. You got a couple more years.
No. He's old
You're
enough
in a
to.
gray area. You got a couple more
He's turning
years.
79.
before-
I think he can.
Yeah,
I think he
I
gets a
can
free
do-
pass as
I
long as
think-
it's not offensive language.
No.
I don't think he would get a.
Have I done it with you, any of you?
a free
I might
pass
have.
on the no
I
words?
might have.
You're just asking people to fill out complaints with
Yeah,
our
I've done
HR
it with
department.
Jen. Does it bother you?
It doesn't.
I mean,
it
you
doesn't
see
bother
the-
Jen.
this is
Folks.
making
You
me-
got it on tape.
sincerity. Yeah,
This is making me very
But
uncomfortable.
you
Really
don't
not.
appreciate how old he is. Because you've always known him as your dad.
I get it. No, I get
gets-
it,
you
and
get a
I
free pass,
understand
Terry.
You yummy little.
They're
Feel
yummy-
free to call me hun as often
from a
as you
different
want.
time.
No, I do. And you know what?
I don't mind
but
it.
they're-
I do it just, and it's not even a thought. It's just something that I do.
Yeah, but
It's a
people
term of
also used to
endearment.
spit on the floor. You stopped doing that.
Well,
No, but if you don't know their name-
if it's truly taken as spitting on the floor, I would stop.
Well, no, it's
No.
not that. It's just there are certain things that we
We'd
don't
like
do
to hear
anymore.
from you on this. If you have any opinions on yum or hun, 612
yummy,
all
yummy,
fours
yummy.
or yummy.
Exclamation
Is it okay
marks.
for a guy to say, yeah, comment on the exclamation marks, whether we could adopt adding one to the middle finger. I thought that was playful.
Are the three dots called ellipsis?
Yeah, do we
believe?
call the three dots ellipses?
I think that's what
I
it's
think
called.
I think it may very well be.
Did I tell
Why
you-
3 too? That's what I want to know. Not 2, not 4.
What?
3 dots.
Oh, I don't know.
That's the standard. You can't use a
Four
fourth
would be
dot.
too many.
4
Two wouldn't be enough.
Why not?
Because two would feel like you just accidentally put
Made a
an extra
mistake.
period.
3 is intentional.
and four
Okay.
is
Well,
come
no,
on.
because
can
the
suffer that.
ellipsis is 3. I mean, it's just
Right,
what
it's just
it
what
is.
I'm saying. At some point, somebody
It's
made
like-
that decision.
It's like
It's
saying
not. It's not an element of the
exclamation should have
universe.
2 dots under it instead of 1.
So
No.
enough time has passed that I think I can tell you this story without
my.
offending anyone.
Oh, here we go.
Get ready to be offended.
So
hold my
someone
hand.
said something
Ooh, you got a strong grip.
that my wife took offense to, and I think rightfully so.
Legitimate offense or like that false offense?
No. I think she was actually a little bit upset,
Okay.
and we go out to dinner that night.
Yeah.
And as far as I could tell, and she too, there was only one person who knew where we were eating dinner that night. And so we're sitting there at dinner, and the server says, your dinner was taken care of by someone tonight. And he was really weird about it. He was like, I can't give you the name now. I want to wait. And I think looking back, he just didn't have it in front of him. But I'll tell you later. And so we said, was it so-and-so? Because there was only one person we could think of who knew who we were. And later on, we say this. And he goes, yeah, that's the name. Right? And so, okay, now we're thinking, okay, this person did something. They recognized it. They did this wonderful gesture. And this changed everything. Okay, we all mess up. We make it good.
Wait,
And at some point we were even thinking-
what got messed up?
Well, they did something to offend my wife. And we're thinking now this person.
Oh, you didn't say that.
Oh, I that's what.
You said we were hoping to hear what offended her. That's
No, I don't want to get into that because I don't want to identify this person.
If you want to hear what offended her, call 612 all fours.
So we asked the person, was it so-and-so, the person who had offended her? He said, yes, I think that's the person. Okay. So okay, they made good. We all make mistakes. Sure. We make it better. Great. And even talked about, wow, I wonder if this is a great strategy. You kind of offend somebody, but then you do this great gesture and it almost makes you look like an even better person. And we had a whole conversation about it. Fast forward, the meal's ending, and a different server now says, oh, and I just wanted to make sure somebody told you so-and-so bought your dinner tonight. And it was a different name. And we're like, oh, yes, it was the mother of one of my kids' friends who came on vacation with us. And we had forgotten that we sent her kind of an itinerary of what we were doing, and the name of the restaurant was on there.
That was a nice gesture on her part.
Oh, it was wonderful.
That was a phenomenal
wonderful,
effort.
Wonderful, very nice.
A+, whoever you are.
But we were talking about, I mean, can you imagine had we gone back to the person who offended her and said, "Oh, thank you so much for the
So that
dinner," and
person's
blah,
still
blah,
on the
blah.
shit list.
Ooh,
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's end this
Although,
podcast so we can hear. I want to know.
I think
What the
that
offense
we saw Fiddler on the Roof the other night.
At the Muni.
Yeah.
It's a fine
and
place.
I think my wife, who is not Jewish, after seeing Fiddler on the Roof, was less offended and understood a little bit more.
Oh, now
Really?
you. Oh,
Now, speaking of offense, now
let's end this.
I'm going to ask one thing
that's.
that's not controversial, but it's certainly not lighthearted. I'm curious because your wife has her lineage is Mexican.
Yeah.
And, with all of this nonstop talk about the border, and it's obvious that there's no great distinction. I understand legally in this country, there's a distinction if you're documented or not documented. But in terms of the human beings involved, that's a label of distinction that we put on, but they still are just human beings coming over from Mexico. How does that hit a person like your wife who has to hear these things constantly and knows full well that's her country and she's got relatives and people and history and lineage? How does that not offend on a daily basis?
Of course it does. But, it's like there's a lot of political rhetoric that we all deal with and we all hear, and it's offensive. And you can either dwell on it every day or every once in a while you think of it and it sucks, but you kind of move on past it. But she, she's Mexican and so obviously has a very soft spot for, if we're driving down the road and there's someone who appears to be Mexican with a family on the side of the road, asking for money, we are getting a U-turn.
She hires them immediately.
Going to the ATM and, I just want to give them my money. She has obviously a real soft spot.
I just think that,
for her
I don't
people.
know if people take the time to sit and just think, and I'm not taking sides, and I'm not saying that we don't have a problem or an issue or that there's not a better way to do it, but I couldn't imagine anything that would feel less welcoming and just more hurtful that, that's literally
They're talking about
the old-fashioned, we don't want your kind here.
Yeah.
They use legal, not legal. It's not like they say, listen, we don't want you to do it this way. Please fill out this form and do it the right way. They don't say that. They say it to shut it down. We don't want your kind here.
Right.
And to me, it's like, I can't believe that anybody with a straight face can just go out there and send those messages and not realize how inhuman that is.
Well,
you know what I think?
What could be more un-American than that?
It is. It's the most un-American. We should be ashamed. We should cover the Statue of Liberty.
We were the great melting pot.
Give us your tire. You're poor.
We wanted all that. And the sad thing is now it's not that they do it, but have you noticed the rhetoric surrounding it is not only we don't want them here, but all of them are bad people. They're all criminals. They're mentally defective. It's just the way they've demonized this whole class. You never hear about a family that's escaping poverty or violence. And of course, we should open our arms.
Like many of their ancestors did.
It's just terrible.
Well, and that's the thing. And every great thing that this country's ever really come up with came to us because we were a melting pot, because we took something from an outside culture, assimilated into ours, came up with something better out of it.
Right.
Every good thing we have.
I blame the internet.
I don't want people to think that, anyway, I don't believe that there has to be some orderly process to get people into the United States. I think there's definitely a need for some method of knowing, the people and assimilating them into our country. But what's happened is just...
We can do that without villainizing.
Can I ask you guys both something?
Yeah.
Can you imagine most Americans, we feel like we should be allowed to go visit anywhere we want to, whenever we want to. And if any country ever told us
how dare
that we could not step into their border, we were not allowed. Do you know the outrage that most Americans would be espousing?
There's a real sense of entitlement.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We believe we deserve to walk into any place on this planet. But the second somebody else wants to do it, we're the ones that start throwing up.
Wait till they see this podcast and find out we were shut out of the World's Fairs.
Well, and let me tell you, don't you feel a little, there is a little offense to that. I get it too, of course, but still people don't like to be told no. I mean, we don't. No. We like yes.
Yeah, but it's a real sense of entitlement to feel like you can act any way you want, say anything you want to say, and then still be welcome
I
everywhere.
think the
People took free speech and thought that they think it means free speech without any consequences. No one ever said that there won't be consequences to your speech. You can say it and you won't be arrested for it, but that doesn't mean people aren't going to be pissed off
and
about
that's
it.
true even in just your private relationships.
But
Did you see?
Let me just say one thing. I think the message you were trying to convey is that we're a wonderful people, Americans, but our shit stinks.
Well, you know what it is?
You know what I mean?
It's groupthink.
It's really, we're not, we have all the same ups and downs, good and bad, as every other group of people in this world.
Crowd mentalities are often bad. I feel like American crowds
But what is
can
the
be
great
worse.
American differentiator, or at least what it was supposed to be? The great differentiator was that there was a mixed bag. I watched a speech that Ronald Reagan gave he didn't give it the other day, but it was on TikTok.
Yeah.
He's been dead for a long time. I'm aware of that. Don't write in.
Or is he?
But he did. He talked about the fact that, we're the only country that once people come here and they're here, they can declare themselves an American. I can't move to Japan, live there 10 years, and ever make the declaration that I'm Japanese.
Right.
That'll never happen. You can't do that in any other country. But in America, you come here and stay here 10 years, people say, what are you? Say, I'm American.
Yeah.
It's the only country you can do that in. That's an amazing thing.
Yeah.
The only reason why that's possible is because we're a nation of immigrants.
Yeah.
But in all fairness, while I say we're a great melting pot, and that was a great advertising slogan, our record for how we have accepted and welcomed people from other countries is pretty poor.
It's pretty poor. Well, every group always wants to be the last in the door.
I'm just saying it's true. The Italians, the Jews, the Germans, the Spanish.
Yeah, but I think there was
Mexican,
an element.
Irish. There's always been a reluctance to welcome them.
But I think part of that reluctance, it wasn't rich Italians or rich Irish or rich Mexicans. There was a socioeconomic component to that
But
as well. In other words, it wasn't just where they were from.
But the great majority of people in this world are not rich.
You know what's incredible is the stories, and I have countless friends whose parents have these stories, who arrived in the United States with like $50 in their pocket and nothing, and the clothes on their back.
Right.
Can you imagine myself, you, anyone, any American going to another country, not speaking the language, having $50 in their pocket?
And a lot of them were kids. People were sent over 12, 13 without their parents, just because their parents wanted to send them over here for a chance.
I mean, these people did heroic
Can't
things
say these people.
to come here and to do what they did. Now, not all of them, but most of them, and we just don't.
Well, I think
we
there
don't
was a
respect
time
that anymore or honor us at the moment.
But that's that's what everybody talks about, the American dream. It used to be, if you worked hard, there was something there where you could make a living and be as successful as you want to be. And I do think there was a time in America where there was that opportunity far more available to everyone than it is today. Remember that chart you sent me that talked about the wealth distribution in America?
Yeah.
And it's
crazy.
Because it goes from rich to poor, basically. Like there's nothing else in America anymore.
No, it's a
it's
sad
true.
state of affairs. Well, that's about all the time we...
Yeah. Those sandwiches were good.
They were great sandwiches. We don't mean to get all serious at the end, but sometimes we keep it real. We don't have a script. Sometimes it's light and funny, and sometimes we just have to address the issues of the day.
True. Remember, our shit stinks.
It does. As Americans, it does.
That's
Listen, we're I think we are still as good as anyone, and we're great people.
I'm going to make a T-shirt.
I just think that we've maybe lost our way a little bit in a few
We'll find
essential human
Jen,
areas.
Can we get
I don't
some
give up hope.
T-shirts made?
Oh boy.
Our shit stinks.
Yeah, let's why don't we
Start with just the singular with the my.
Yeah.
Just get
let's
it in
see how
his
it goes.
size. Yeah, we'll see how the crowd reacts to it. We can always
that's
expand it.
fair enough.
All right.
If you see me in my shit stinks T-shirt, just give me a.
It's wonderfully humble. There's a lot of humility in
And
that
he'll call you
t-shirt.
hun.
There you go.
All right.
Okay,
That's
hun.
a wrap.
Good job, hun.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Wave.
Bye, Saga.